Ahoy Captains, it's Baz again with another video from World of Warships Legends. And today we have another fun match for you. We are in the Komsomolets. This is the Russian Tier 3 tech tree carrier. And this is a game of domination on northern waters. Now this is a Tier 3 and Tier 4 match. And I think this is one of the first low tier matches that I had on the Northern Waters map since they repurposed it to allow for lower tier matches. It's all zoomed in and stuff. Kinda nice, it changes things up a little bit. And now this match did take place way back when the Russian carriers were first released, back in the end of February. So half a year ago now that I'm recording this at the end of August. And I'm not sure when this video will come out, but you'll have a good idea from my process for how long it takes me to put these damn videos together. Anyways, back to the match. You saw that we had a spawn in the lower left portion of the map. I think we started off in the very furthest grid box to the back of the map, and maybe like the third one over. So right away, before the match even started, I moved my carrier to the center of the map. That's because I want as many of the friendly ships between me and the enemy ships as possible. And being that the cap is directly in front of us, I assume that most of the enemy ships are going to congregate over there. The first thing we did with our planes is we sent them towards the cap in the search for the enemy destroyer. We assumed that he would be headed over there. But, you know, you can't assume that everyone's going to play smart, as our destroyer spawned in the right portion of the map, the eastern portion, and he decided that, hell, he spawned over there, he's going to play over there. So, not all destroyers are going to go directly to the cap, it just all depends on where they spawn, and it doesn't look like their destroyer has spawned on this side. So we dropped a couple of torpedoes on a group of cruisers over there. Mainly we just wanted to drop our torps before we got any planes shot down. We only do have 4 planes per squadron in the Komsomolets, whereas with the higher tier carriers you get at least 6. With that frickin' overpowered Sirov you get 6, and that thing, man, with its 6 torpedoes at the same time, or 6 bombs at the same time, you can dev strike stuff. That Sirov, in my opinion, that is the most powerful carrier tier for tier in the entire game. But the Komsomolets isn't no slouch either. As you'll see later on, we actually get ourselves a dev strike in this game. Now the enemy destroyer has been spotted over on the right hand side, but I figured our destroyer and a cruiser over there, they should be able to handle him. And so our goal at this time was to try and keep the enemy cruisers out of the alpha cap. There's me having a good old time with the stupid command wheel again, trying to get that destroyer to go into the Charlie cap because I'm not sure exactly where in the hell he's going right now. But he did luck out, he actually torped the enemy destroyer, and that was a bit of a fluke. But that changes the course of the match drastically. You know, I always say that a carrier's #1 job is to track down the enemy destroyers. But, you know, when there is only one, and if he is outnumbered, you don't really need to overkill him. You know, you don't want to concentrate all of your spotting in one spot, being that the friendly destroyer was over on that side. But you know, we were chasing that enemy Kuma around, and we actually sunk him. And so after that, there weren't any actual threats to the alpha cap, so we said, screw it, let's go ahead and help out against that enemy destroyer. But of course, now that the destroyer's dead, we move on to our next target. We're going to single out this Iwaki over here that's all by himself. He was able to shoot down one of our planes, but we did get 3 bombs away. And oh boy, there's our devastating strike for this match. Including 1 Citadel with an HE bomb. Boy, those Iwakis are paper thin. They are basically a destroyer. You know, they gotta have some kind of weakness because that, in my opinion, is a very strong ship. If you don't have that Firepower Deluxe Edition that the Iwaki comes in, then there's an example of a ship that's worth picking it up for. Just watch out for Russian carriers, of course. But for me, that's the most fun ship that comes in that package. Those 2 slow-moving battleships are not really that fun, although they are powerful. And the Kamikaze is just boring and not my style. I haven't even played it, not even once. But anyways, that's your sort of secondary thing that you want to focus on when you're in a carrier. Once all the destroyers are dead, of course, again, that's your primary objective. But your secondary objective can be to, go and find solo targets. Ships that are all by their lonesome. A lot of the enemy ships are grouped up together over in the left side portion of the map. So we kind of want to avoid their AA bubbles as much as possible, because when they overlap, of course, it's double the damage that's being done to our planes. Or even more if there are more than 2 ships. So really right now all we're doing is we're just picking out the closest targets. We did get 1 torp hit on one of those cruisers in our last run. Spoiler alert, the next torpedo run is going to be pretty darn good. Just before that happens though, I do gotta apologize. I did have to pause the recording a little while back there. There was just too much background noise. It was so hot. I had all the fans going at maximum in here, and it was just like too unbearable to record. The mic was picking up the fan noise, and so I stopped, and now I'm picking it up here on a different day. So sorry if the audio sounds a little bit inconsistent at times. Alright, here's our next torp drop on the Svetlana, and look how tight those torps are. And then he starts turning into them. This is gonna be nice. And whammo, there is our 3rd sinking of the match. So things are looking on the up and up for us in this match. We have control of 2 caps, although the enemy is looking to be taking control of the alpha cap, but we'll head over there and see what we can do about that. We did switch to the HE bombs now, since we didn't have enough planes for a torp run. And with the Komsomolets, the HE bombs are not the skip bombs that the higher tier Russian carriers have, so it's just the regular old drop them and let them fly bombs, which is kind of lame, to be honest. I don't see why they couldn't have the skip bombs, but oh well. And so we're feeling pretty good about the match, and we actually told our carrier to park, or at least stop moving away from the action, because we want our distance to target to be as short as possible. Plus we also park up behind an island, I think, and so that helps, puts us in a defensive position. So here we are coming up on the 2 cruisers here, and you can see with the 2 cruisers sailing together, there's all kinds of incoming fire towards our planes. By the time we start pulling up on the weakest ship there, the Jusano, not really sure how to say that. We only have 1 plane left to drop a bomb on you. And unfortunately all we get is some splash damage and an incapacitation. So that's what I mean there when you want to single out targets. You want to try and stay away from enemies that are grouped up together and share AA. Unfortunately in that situation we didn't really have much choice. We want to keep those ships away from the alpha objective, and so we kind of had to sacrifice some planes in order to do that. You'd think one of our friendly teammates would be able to finish off this Coisano. I don't know how to say that. Somebody let me know how to say that down in the comments below there. Anyways, we're going to drop a full load of torpedoes on him. We're going to get 4 torp bombers away on him. And with the torp spread of the Komsomolets, it's pretty tight, so it is very tough to dodge, even if your ship is straight on. And it's funny, because he's turning away, and he's going to try and dodge them that way, by turning his ship straight on. It's too bad we didn't have like a picture-in-picture, where we could zoom in and see how he tries to avoid them. Take a look where our carrier is now. It's almost on the opposite side of the map from where we spawned. I feel like this is something that a lot of carrier players don't take into consideration. They kind of sit where they spawn and not really thinking ahead and thinking about where their carrier needs to be positioned later on in the match. A little anticipation and awareness can go a long way in this game. And we did end up getting that Coisano. That was our 4th sinking of the match. So the only 2 targets left are the battleship and the enemy carrier. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we haven't attacked the enemy battleship even once this match, up until this point anyways. And that's because he is our least concerning threat. Yes, battleships can deal the highest amount of damage, but they can only shoot every 30 seconds, and they're slow as hell. So it doesn't matter what class you're playing, you can avoid them pretty easily. Enemy carriers, on the other hand, they can track you down from the back edges of the map. So that's why we're going after him next. And of course, he had a lower health pool and lower health to begin with than the battleship. So of course, it just all makes sense to go after him next. Surprisingly, he can't really figure out where we are. I don't think he's even been able to spot us yet. And you can tell with the direction that the battleship and the carrier headed, they expected us just to be sitting around in our spawn. And there's another great reason why you need to keep your carrier moving throughout the match, because it's less predictable. Alright, so we got like 40 seconds to kill before something interesting happens now. So what do you guys think about the Russian carrier line in general? I guess that it's cool that the skip bombers are different at tier 5 and tier 7. And being able to drop your full load of torps or bombs is kind of cool too. But at the same time, I think that makes these things way too OP. Especially the Sirov. Oh boy, I already talked about it earlier, but that thing is one of the best carriers tier for tier in the game. Probably the best carrier tier for tier in the game. And a competent player in a Russian carrier is going to affect the match like quite a bit. And there you go, Kraken Unleashed. We finish off the enemy carrier. That's our 5th sinking of the match, and now all we have left is the enemy battleship. It's mano y mano. And so this is the time when it's okay as a carrier to go after a battleship, when there's no other ships remaining. The other reason why you don't want to waste your time attacking enemy battleships as a carrier is because their AA is usually better than the other ships, especially at lower tiers. Unfortunately, this Wyoming is built like a brick shithouse, and so we're not able to do much damage against him throughout the remainder of the match. So we're actually going to speed up the rest of the match. But for the most part, we're just playing cat and mouse, trying to keep the islands in between us and him. Trying to rack up some kind of damage, but he knows it's only us left, and so he's taking evasive maneuvers, trying to do whatever he can to avoid our torps and our bombs. But you can't really blame him. Well played on his part for being hard to kill. Although you could argue that all that time spent zigging and zagging was wasted, because it delayed his progress towards fighting us. So good on us too, huh? Even if we weren't damaging him, we were at least impeding his progress. Well, we almost made it to the end of the match, but thinking this it ended at least a little bit earlier, we win on points. That's all that really matters, is we get the victory there. And a nice little match in the Komsomolets. We ended up with over 45,000 in damage. We got our 5 sinkings and our Kraken Unleashed medal. And we ended that match with 10 torp hits and 7 bomb hits and even 1 citadel. Can't believe it. So there you have it, our first and only Kraken in a carrier. If you guys did enjoy that video, hit that thumbs up button for me. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my videos. Feel free to leave a comment down below, and as always, take care of yourself and do what makes you happy.